You ever work so hard for something that when you finally get it, you almost can't believe it's yours? That was Jordan, 24 years old, grinding every single day. 2 jobs, 7 days a week, barely sleeping, no vacations, nothing. Just grinding. And finally, he got it. A 2024 Dodge Charger Hellcat, fully loaded. Midnight black paint, red leather seats, engine so loud it shook your chest when you started it up. It wasn't just a car. It was a trophy. Proof that he made it, proof that everything he sacrificed was worth it. Jordan couldn't stop grinning when he picked it up from the dealership. The salesman even tried to talk him into financing it, acting like he couldn't afford it outright. Jordan pulled out the check and watched the guy's smile freeze. That moment, priceless. He promised himself he'd take it easy for the first drive. Just cruise around, let the feelings sink in. So he decided to swing by his childhood friend Marcus's house. They hadn't seen each other in a minute, and Marcus had just bought a place in the suburbs, one of those neighborhoods with HOA rules and perfectly trimmed lawns. Jordan had never been out there before, but he figured it'd be a nice little trip. He threw on some jeans and a plain white t-shirt, nothing flashy. No jewelry, no chains. He didn't want to draw attention. But the second he pulled into the neighborhood, he felt it. The stairs. Jordan wasn't stupid. He knew what it looked like, young black man in a brand new Hellcat, windows down, music playing low. To them. He wasn't a hardworking man who earned his dream. He was a threat. An older white woman walking her little yappy dog froze on the sidewalk. She tugged her dog closer and pulled out her phone, glancing up at Jordan like he might jump out and attack her at any second. Jordan sighed and kept driving, trying not to let it get to him. He was used to it. Used to people assuming the worst. He pulled up to Marcus's house, double-checked the address, and parked at the curb. Marcus wasn't home yet. He texted saying he was running about 15 minutes late. So Jordan sat there, windows cracked, scrolling on his phone. 5 minutes in, he noticed a black SUV creeping down the street toward him. It slowed to a crawl when it got near his car. Jordan looked up. Inside was a middle-aged white man, staring hard, like Jordan didn't belong there. The SUV stopped in the middle of the street, just sitting there, blocking traffic. Jordan gave a polite little wave, like, "Hey, no worries, just visiting." But the guy didn't wave back. Instead, he pulled out his phone. Jordan chuckled under his breath. Here we go. Another car pulled up behind the SUV, honking impatiently. But the SUV didn't move. It just sat there. Jordan could feel it starting, the heat rising in his chest. That mix of anger and helplessness he hated so much. He hadn't done a damn thing wrong. But somehow, he was already guilty in their eyes. A few minutes later, the SUV finally pulled off. Jordan thought maybe that was the end of it. Maybe the guy realized he was overreacting. But then he heard it. Sirens. Getting louder. Jordan's stomach dropped. 2 squad cars came whipping around the corner, lights flashing. Jordan's heart started pounding. He sat up straight, hands on the steering wheel, just like his mom had taught him. No sudden movements. No attitude. Just survive. One officer jumped out before the car even stopped moving, hand resting on his holster. Step out of the vehicle. Now he barked. Jordan froze. His voice was steady when he spoke, but his hands were shaking. Officer, I'm just waiting for my friend. I can show you. Step out of the vehicle. The second Jordan moved, for more officers piled out of the second car. Neighbors started coming out of their houses, phones out, recording. But none of them looked surprised. They looked satisfied. Like this was what they expected. Jordan carefully opened the door and stepped out, keeping his hands visible. Another officer yanked his arms behind his back, cuffing him rougher than necessary. Jordan didn't resist. He knew better. What's the problem, sir? Jordan asked, voice as calm as he could manage. The first cop sneered at him. Got a call about a suspicious vehicle. Looks like you were casing houses. Got any weapons or drugs on you? Jordan blinked. Sir, no. I'm just waiting for my friend Marcus. He lives right there. He nodded toward the house. The cop looked unconvinced. You got ID? Jordan nodded, struggling a little with the cuffs. In my back pocket. The cop didn't offer to uncuff him. Instead, he shoved his hand into Jordan's pocket, fishing out his wallet like Jordan was already a criminal. Jordan clenched his jaw, but said nothing. They ran his ID, patted him down twice, and even opened the car doors, peeking inside like they were hoping to find something. Meanwhile, the whole neighborhood was watching, whispering, recording. Jordan could feel it, the humiliation burning through him. 15 minutes passed. 30. Still cuffed, standing there like an animal. Finally, one of the officers walked back over, shaking his head. "Nothing on him," he muttered. The lead cop frowned, clearly annoyed he hadn't caught Jordan doing something wrong. But instead of apologizing, he leaned in close and said under his breath, "Watch yourself around here, boy. We protect our own." Jordan locked eyes with him. And in that moment, he realized this wasn't about a mistake. It wasn't about safety. It was about power. And he was just getting started learning how far they were willing to go to keep it. Marcus pulled into the neighborhood, tires crunching over the perfect white gravel of the road. He was blasting music, windows down, grinning like a fool he hadn't seen Jordan in forever. He slowed as he got closer to his street, confused when he saw flashing lights up ahead. 2 cop cars. A crowd of neighbors standing around with their phones out. And right in the middle of it, Jordan, handcuffed, standing next to his brand-new Hellcat. Marcus's heart dropped. He slammed his car into park and practically flew out of the driver's seat. "Hey," he shouted, jogging up the sidewalk. "That's my boy. What's going on?" One of the officers turned toward him, hand already hovering near his gun. "Stay back, sir. This is official police business." Marcus put his hands up slowly. "Official police business? He's literally here to visit me. He's not doing anything wrong." The officer gave him a hard stare. "You live here?" Marcus nodded, feeling the heat rising in his chest. "Yeah, right there." He pointed at his house, just a few feet away. The officer didn't look convinced. "Got proof of residence?" Marcus blinked. "You serious?" The cop didn't blink. "ID now." Marcus cursed under his breath but did what he was told, digging into his glove box for his license. He handed it over. The cop studied it for a long second. Longer than necessary. Then finally he grunted and turned back to Jordan. "Friend of yours, huh?" Marcus nodded sharply. "Then maybe next time," the cop said, voice dripping with sarcasm. "You tell your guests to announce themselves before they start casing houses." Marcus felt his fists clench at his sides. He wanted to snap back, wanted to curse him out, wanted to tell the whole neighborhood exactly what he thought of them. But Jordan caught his eye. Just a little shake of the head. "Don't." Marcus swallowed it down. He watched as they finally uncuffed Jordan. Watched Jordan rub his wrists, the red marks standing out against his skin. Watched the officers give him one last lingering glare before getting back in their cruisers. No apology. No explanation. Nothing. They just drove off, leaving Jordan and Marcus standing there on the sidewalk like broken glass nobody wanted to clean up. The crowd started to thin out, but not before a woman with a golden retriever called out loud enough for everyone to hear. "Next time, stay where you belong." Marcus turned toward her, rage flashing across his face. But again, Jordan put a hand on his shoulder. "Let it go, man," Jordan said quietly. Marcus shook his head. "This is bullshit, bro. You didn't do anything wrong." Jordan gave a hollow laugh. "Doesn't matter." They stood there for a second, the late afternoon sun beating down on them, feeling heavier than it should have. Finally, Marcus jerked his head toward his house. "Come inside. Forget these people." Jordan hesitated for a second. Then he nodded. But as they walked up the driveway, Jordan caught something out of the corner of his eye. Across the street, 2 men, neighbors, standing on their front porch, watching, whispering, one of them smirking. Jordan didn't say anything, but he felt it. The message was clear. You're not welcome here. You never will be. And deep down, Jordan knew this wasn't over. Not even close. Marcus's house was nice. Real nice. Big kitchen, polished wood floors. Huge backyard with a grill setup that made Jordan shake his head in disbelief. They tried to laugh it off. Cracked open a couple sodas, ordered some wings, played some 2K on the PlayStation like they used to back in the day. But no matter how much they joked around, the tension hung in the air like smoke. Jordan kept glancing out the window, checking on his car. Marcus caught him doing it and gave him a look. You're good, bro. These people might be nosy, but they're not stupid enough to mess with you. Jordan forced a smile. Yeah, I know. But deep down, he wasn't so sure. He could feel it. Something ugly slithering under the surface of this perfect little neighborhood. Around midnight, Jordan decided it was time to head out. Marcus offered to let him crash there, but Jordan shook his head. He didn't want to give these people another reason to stare tomorrow morning. He stepped outside and froze. The car was sitting there, sure. But something was wrong. Tiny scratches ran along the side doors. Fresh, ugly, deliberate. Jordan's stomach twisted. He walked closer, heart pounding. Someone had keyed his brand-new Hellcat. Deep gouges along the paint. Words scrawled in big, jagged letters. Get out. Marcus came out behind him and saw it too. He cursed under his breath. Man, what the hell? Jordan just stood there for a second, breathing hard, fists clenching and unclenching at his sides. He felt the rage bubbling up. Hot, violent. But what could he do? Knock on every door. Demand answers from people who already thought he was guilty just for existing. He leaned against the car, staring up at the night sky, feeling the weight of it pressing down on him. Marcus pulled out his phone. I got cameras on the house, bro. We can check the footage. Jordan looked at him, something flickering in his eyes. You sure? Marcus nodded. They went inside and pulled up the security app, scrolled back through the footage from a couple hours earlier. And there it was, clear as day. Two figures, hoodies pulled low, gloves on, creeping up the driveway, keying the car, laughing about it. One of them even turned toward the camera for a second, flashing a smirk. Marcus paused the video. Jordan leaned in, squinting. He recognized that face. It was the guy from earlier. The one who drove the black SUV. The one who called the cops on him. Marcus muttered, unbelievable. Jordan felt something cold settle in his chest. This wasn't just a random act. This wasn't a misunderstanding. It was a message, loud and clear. He wasn't welcome. He wasn't safe. Not here. Maybe not anywhere. Marcus slammed his fist on the counter. We're calling the cops. Screw this. But Jordan didn't answer right away. He just stared at the frozen image on the screen. The neighbor's smirking face burned into his brain. He knew how this would go. They'd call the police. The same cops who cuffed him without cause. The same ones who told him to watch himself. Jordan shook his head slowly. They're not going to help us. Marcus looked ready to argue, but the look on Jordan's face shut him up. Jordan pocketed his keys, jaw set. If they want me gone so bad, he said quietly, maybe I should give them something to really be scared about. Marcus's eyes widened. Bro, chill. You're not thinking straight. But Jordan was already walking toward the door. And for the first time in a long time, he wasn't scared anymore. He was ready. Jordan drove around the block a few times, mind racing. He wasn't thinking about being careful anymore. He wasn't thinking about staying quiet or being the good guest. He was thinking about how tired he was. Tired of smiling through it. Tired of letting it slide. Tired of pretending it didn't matter. He finally parked 2 streets over, killed the lights, and sat there in the dark for a moment. The neighbor's house was easy to spot. Big American flag out front. Truck parked in the driveway with a Back the Blue sticker on the bumper. Lights still on inside, even though it was nearly 1 a.m. Jordan clenched the steering wheel until his knuckles turned white. He didn't have a real plan. Just a lifetime of swallowed anger boiling over. He got out quietly, walking up the sidewalk, hands stuffed deep into his hoodie. Every step felt heavy final. He knew he was crossing a line, but so had they. He made it halfway up the driveway when the porch light flared on. Jordan froze. The door swung open, and there he was, the neighbor. The guy from the footage, standing there with a shotgun, casually slung in one hand. Look who's back, the man drawled, loud enough for anyone nearby to hear. Didn't get the message the first time. Jordan stood his ground. You scratched my car, he said, voice low. The neighbor chuckled, shaking his head. You don't belong here. You're making the place look bad. Jordan took a step forward. The neighbor's grip on the shotgun tightened. I wouldn't do that if I were you, boy. The word boy hit Jordan like a slap. He swallowed hard, heart hammering against his ribs. This could go bad. Real bad. And if it did, everybody already knew which side they believe. You think you're going to scare me with that? Jordan said, nodding toward the gun. The neighbor's smile widened. I don't gotta scare you, he said. You do it to yourself. Every time you open your mouth. Every time you show your face around here. Jordan looked him dead in the eye. You're a coward. The neighbor took a step onto the porch, shotgun raised slightly. You got 5 seconds to get off my property. Jordan didn't move. Or what, he said. The neighbor didn't answer. He didn't have to. Jordan could see it in his eyes. That same hatred he'd seen too many times before. That same smirk, like he owned the world and Jordan was just trespassing in it. A figure moved behind the neighbor, his wife peeking through the door, clutching her phone. Probably already calling the cops, Jordan thought bitterly. He backed up slowly, hands raised, never taking his eyes off the barrel of that shotgun. Yeah, the neighbor said, smirking wider. That's what I thought. Jordan made it back to the street before he finally turned around and walked away, fists clenched so tight his nails dug into his palms. He didn't even notice the flashing lights until they turned the corner. 2 cop cars. Sirens off. Rolling up slow. Marcus's house was just a few doors down, but it might as well have been a mile away. Jordan froze in the middle of the street as the cruisers boxed him in. One of the officers stepped out, hand resting on his holster. Hands where we can see them. Jordan raised his hands again, his chest tight with fury and disbelief. The neighbor sauntered down his driveway, fake concern dripping from his voice. Officer, thank God you came. He threatened my family. Jordan's mouth dropped open. That's a lie. But it didn't matter. He could see it already, the way the cops' faces hardened, the way their hands inched closer to their weapons. No one was going to ask for footage now. No one was going to listen. Jordan had been marked the second he set foot on the street. And this time, he wasn't sure if he was going to walk away.